Welcome to our session on control engineering. Let me introduce myself. I am Naveen Kalal, working as assistant professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering at Canara Engineering College, Mangaluru, affiliated to Vishveshwaraya Technological University, Belgavi. The program Control Engineering is being designed for the undergraduates of 7th semester mechanical engineering. Here the students will be able to understand the fundamentals of control engineering and its application in mechanical engineering and other allied branches. What are the course objectives of this subject? Here we are going to understand modeling of mechanical, hydraulic, pneumatic and electrical systems. The next objective of this one is to make us familiar with different blocks and its reduction techniques. Then transient and steady state response analysis of a given system. Frequency response analysis using polar plots. Frequency response analysis using Bode plot. Analysis of the system using root locus plots. Finally, different system compensators and variable characteristics of a linear system. After understanding the course objectives, we need to know what are the course outcomes. The student will be able to identify the basic elements and structures of the feedback control systems. The learners will be made to understand the mathematical model and finding the transfer function of any system using various techniques such as block diagram reduction, signal flow diagram, where they will be made familiar with how to reduce a given transfer function into a single transfer function. The learners will be made to understand the basic theory of Laplace transform, transfer function, impulse response and mathematical modeling for the overall analysis of the control system. They will be introduced to different concepts of a time domain and frequency domain, and they will be made familiar with how to find the stability and analyze the given system using various design methods like root locus, Nyquist plot, Bode plot, etc. Lastly, they will be able to employ state equation for studying controllability and observability when a system is having multiple input and multiple outputs. Next, syllabus. Here the syllabus is as per the CBCS scheme for 7th semester mechanical engineering. The course code for this one is 17 ME 73. The number of lecture hours per week is 5 and total number of lecture hours assigned here are 50, approximately 10 hours per module, and the continuous evaluation marks or continuous improvement marks are 40. Semester end exam marks 60. Exam hours or duration of writing the exam is free and it holds a good credit of 4. Syllabus. The syllabus is divided into 5 modules. Each module strengthens the student in understanding right from the basics to the modern control theory. In the module 1, he will be made to understand the basics about the concept of control and the types of controls and requirements of controls and the blend of different types of controllers. In the module 2, he will be made to get familiar with mathematical models of mechanical, electrical, thermal, hydraulic and pneumatic system. Later, how direct and inverse analogous for mechanical, thermal and hydraulic system or fluid system will be helping in analyzing the system and solving the problem will be made. Block diagram, algebra or representation of feedback control system using the rules of block diagram algebra and reduction techniques are being made familiar for this in this module. The module also will help in making block diagrams into a signal flow graph so that the Mason's gain formula can be implemented here. In module 3, steady state operations for steady state analysis of a given general block of a control system for better understanding of steady state characteristics and equilibrium in a system can be made. Later, in transient response, steady state analysis for the given system using known inputs like unit input, step input, ramp input, parabolic input are going to be learned. For a different type of a differential equation of a control system, distinct and repeated and complex and conjugate poles and zeros, how to represent them and what are their significance in understanding their stability is going to be known. Route stability criterion for a control system is also going to be learned. Later, root locus plots, which will be a significant one in understanding the positions and the magnitude, angles of magnitude, conditions and breakaway points, angles of departure and arrival, construction of root locus using general rules and steps will be made familiar. Lead and lag compensations are also being made familiar here. Module 4 emphasis on frequency domain analysis, relation between time and frequency response using polar plots, Bode plot, Nyquist plot and Nyquist stability criterion, which will be helping us to find the relative stability and phase and gauge margin. In module 5, system compensation and state variable characteristic of linear systems, both in series and parallel feedback compensator are going to be known. Introduction to state concepts, state equations of linear continuous data system, metric representation of state equation, controllability and observability of using Kalman and Gilbert test. Textbooks and reference books. The Modern Control Engineering Theory by Ogata, one of the good books available in most of the libraries. Control System Engineering by I.J. Nagaraj and M. Gopal. They are very familiar and mostly used by many of the faculties. Control System Engineering by Norman S. Nace. This book is very good for understanding the numericals, and most of the numericals are derived from this book. Automatic Control System by Benjamin is one of the best book for understanding modern control theories, and the illustrations given here are very much helpful in understanding the control systems. Any of these books with their latest editions can be helpful for referring and understanding these subjects. Most of the content which are being published here in this PPT or in any of my lectures are being sourced from these textbooks, and equal credits have been acknowledgement has been given for the contents which have been derived from these books. Module 1. So what we are going to study in this one? Firstly, we will be understanding the concepts of automatic controls, open loop and closed loop systems, concepts of feedbacks, and requirements of ideal control system. Then later we will be understanding what types of controllers are mainly used in control engineering, like the proportional, integral, differential. Then proportional integral type of a controller, proportional differential controller, and the popular and the most famous proportional integral differential controller are known as PID types of controllers. Definition. When we were searching for a definition of control engineering which holds good for all the disciplines of engineering, we came across with this statement. It states that control engineering or control systems engineering is an engineering discipline that applies control theory to design a system with the desired behavior in a control environment, meaning that a branch of engineering which makes the designed system to be in a controlled manner. That type of engineering system we call it as a control engineering. What is control engineering then? Control engineering is a branch of engineering which deals with the principles of control theory, mainly to design a system which gives or yields the desired behavior in a controlled manner. Hence, although control engineering was taught within electrical engineering at various university levels, but it has made its path into other interdisciplinary topics also. To mention few are in mechanical, in telecommunication, in medicine, and in navigation also. So where we find it and its application, we will be mentioning it in our application part also. Mechanical engineering, let us see how control engineering works, or in an industrial process how this control engineering is applicable. Let's take an example of a fluid flow in an industrial plant. So this is a tube or a channel through which fluid is processed or fluid is made to flow. Here we can see that at this end the flow is going to be measured with the help of a flow meter. So the flow meter is going to measure the flow rate. We want this flow to be maintained, or a controlled flow has to take place at the outlet. For that, what we do, we implement a flow meter. So flow meter will be converting the flow rate into a signal that we call as a flow rate signal, and this signal is fed into the controller, and the signal whatever we are going to get, or the value whatever we are going to get, we call it as a process value, that is PV. Then what should be the flow rate for the output to need from the consumer, that will be fed by the manual or local manual setup, that is set point, or through a remote setup, that is set point inputs. Now the set point inputs and the process values are both compared in the comparison element, and if there is any deviation in the value, then the signal is given out through this controller output to make the rectification. So the signal is coming to the valve position. So what is happening? The control valve or the solenoid actuated control valve gets the signal to change its previous position, either to move in or move out. Because of the change in the position, what will happen? The flow is going to change. So as we know that Q is equal to, that is discharge is equal to area into velocity. If we change the cross sectional area of the orifice, what will happen? The flow is going to, the Q discharge is going to change. So in this manner, what we can do, the controlled flow which is required from the fluid or the fluid which is coming out has to be controlled. So here we are going to get the manipulated variable, that is MV. So because of this one, the flow can be monitored or the flow can be controlled. So in this manner, most of our basic fluid flow control systems are designed using a closed loop or a loop type of a control system. It may be applicable not only for fluid flow of compressible, but it can be used for incompressible fluid also. Application. Control engineering has found its footprint in most of all the engineering and engineering applications, right from energies to various consumer products. Also we find the applications. To mention a few of its applications, we have brought here these snaps. So here we can see the generation and distribution of energies in a smart grids with the help of the SCADA and the PLC controllers. Then the control of a continuous industry process, examples in a chemical engineering or in refineries, we see the temperatures need to be controlled, or the furnace has to be controlled, or reaction has to be controlled. And mainly in case of energy and management for energy conservations and how utility of energy can be done in case of a smart grids also. Then there are quite a good applications in case of service robotics and industrial automation. Here we see a gangway where we are having different robots working in tandem for in an assembly plant. Here we can see one pick and place type of robots which are having different joints. So these joints are making the rotary and linear motions for picking and placing. And we can see the Asimo robot also here, and mainly in case of haptics also there is control engineering, and in case of some devices also we can see the applications of control engineering. Here are the additional applications of control engineering in case of automotive, that is in ABS, then EPS, automatic parking, and in aeronautics, in navigation and astronautics. So to mention these few, these are the various applications where control engineering has made a tremendous impact and has made the human life easier or more comfortable. So coming to mention some of the other applications which are mainly to be highlighted are the applications in case of a smart consumer products, home security, cameras, microwave oven, toaster, dishwasher, laundry washers, dryers, climate control units, etc. In medical fields also, implant devices, assisted surgeries, haptics have found that control engineering plays important role. Then in defense, manufacturing, automotive and networking centric distribution system, control engineering has made its way far beyond our imaginations. Definition of a control system. As we have already mentioned this one, let us recall again. A control system is an interconnection of components which is used to command, direct, regulate itself or any other systems. So whenever we are being told to define control system, means it is a interconnection of components used to command, direct and regulate itself or any other devices. So the control system is classified into two types. One is the open loop system and another is a closed loop system. Before that, we need to know what is a system. So a system is a box which has an input and an output. Here we are not concerned with what goes on inside the box, but only the relationship between output and input is going to be a matter of concern. For example, if I take a motor, we are bothered about what is the input it is going to be using to give our desired output. Here the input is an electric power. So the electric power will be in terms of voltage and current as a variable which is driving the motor, and the output here is rotation or it may be a linear actuation. So here we are not bothered about what the motor consists and what is inside the motor, on which principle it is working, but we are only much interested in what type of input it is going to get and what type of output it is going to deliver. If we replace this one with another type of power, that is a mechanical power, so it will be a mechanical type of a system. If it is replaced by a hydraulic power, then it will be a hydraulic motor, so hydraulic system. A pneumatic power, so it is a pneumatic system. In all these cases, the power which we are going to give is going to be input to the system, and the output what we are going to get from here is the rotations or linear actuations. So this linear actuation has to be controlled. As we supply the input for this one, the linear actuation or rotary actuation is going to be also functioning in relationship to the input. So if this actuation happens in a relationship to the output and input without any giving a feedback, then we call it as an open loop system. So in an open loop system, a system is one in which there is no feedback path. There is no comparison made between input and output, and the error cannot be estimated. This means that there is no control over the output. Then there will be a confusion. No control over the output means the output is independent to the input. Yes, true, it is independent to the input. But until and unless we are having the input, the output is going to arrive, or we are getting the output. How we are going to put it in a block diagram, or how it has been put in a block diagram of a open loop system. So when we draw open loop system, first we are going to find out what is the output we are having. So output here we are having is a controlled variable. A controlled variable may be rotation, it may be a displacement, or it may be a temperature, or it may be a pressure, or any other variable. So from where it is going to come? It is going to come out from a plant or from a process. Like in case of a motor, we had it here. So then for that motor, what is the input we are going to get? We are going to give the command to either to make the rotor utilize the input. So from where we are going to get the command? We are going to get it the command from a switch, that is a controller. So when we switch on the power, the plant or the motor is going to rotate. Until and unless the switch is on, it is going to rotate. If the switch is off, so it is not going to rotate. So here the output is dependent on what we are going to give as a reference variable. Let's understand the block diagram of a open loop system, which is shown in this figure with the help of an example. So here we are taking an example of a typical domestic washing machine which works on an open loop system. So in a typical washing machine, we are having some 3 set wash cycle. First one is water wash with detergent. Next one is second cycle, that is to rinse the washed clothes. After that, the third cycle is to dry the clothes. So from the system, we are expecting that the outcome or a controlled variable is cleaned clothes. So when it passes through these 3 preset cycles, we are going to expect that the outcome of this one is cleaned clothes. The reference variable for this one is when we have already tested all these sequences, then we have outcome. The outcome is that the dried dirty clothes are getting cleaned when they go through these cycles. So for initially set cycle, the time duration what we may keep is 5 minutes. Okay, so if it runs for 5 minutes, then the washing will take place with the detergent of the clothes. Then we rinse the clothes for next 3 minutes. Then after rinsing the clothes, we expose that clothes for a dryer for another 5 minutes. So it follows a sequence of operation, means the drum or the plant or the process is going to run with the help of the controller. The controller is getting the input, that is the power, and it is making the motor to run for 5 minutes, added with water and detergent. The water and detergent are added into the tub and made to run for 5 minutes with the clothes inside. After 5 minutes, the controller switches off, and now the controller gives a signal for opening the valve. The valve is going to open, when valve opens, the valve is opened for 3 minutes, so that the water, which is the detergent water, is going to get rinse away and clothes are getting rinsed. So this happens for next 3 minutes. Then the signal is, next sequence of signal is to off the valve. So the valve is getting off, and next cycle is to make the motor to run for next 5 minutes with the heater on or blower on, so that the clothes are getting dried. And after 5 minutes we get the signal that of the blower or a heater and motor, so that the sequence is completed. So if any of these sequence are not executed, then we expect that the clothes are not clean. So in an open loop system, the cleanliness of clothes is not measured, but it is expected that when it goes through all these cycles, it is clean. So to make any corrections intermediate of these cycles is not possible in case of an open loop system. Hence there rises a need of a feedback system. So that type of a feedback type of a system, we call it as a closed loop system. So the outcome is that clothes are not cleaned is going to be measured, and the measured value is going to get in a summation with our input, and if there is any deviation, then it will be telling that repeat the cycle. Okay, related to this one, we'll study in detail in the closed loop system. Let me convince you with taking another example of open loop system in which output is dependent on the input, but input or controlling action is independent of output or change in output. Here is an example of an electric lamp which is getting input from electric power, and the input variable for this one to operate is the decision of switching it on and off. The output variable or control variable is to maintain a constant temperature, that is the change in temperature. Let's make analogous of a block diagram of open loop system with this example. The controller here is a switch, and the plant or the process is the electric fire. So whenever there is a change in output, that is control variable at output side, there is a change in temperature, what will happen? We have to make a decision whether to switch on or off the electric power. For example, if the room temperature is 25 degrees centigrade and we require it to reach to a higher temperature, that is 28 degrees centigrade, then the power has to be given to electric fire. Then the input is to switch on, and electric fire will be making the change in heater temperature, and in turn the output variable is going to change. But if we require the temperature to cool down or to come down, then what we are going to do? We are going to change the decision from on condition to off condition, and the controller is going to give a signal for the electric fire to switch it off and the temperature comes down. This is how open loop control system. Let's see the advantages and disadvantages of open loop system. Advantages of a open loop system. So it's a relatively simple in construction because the elements are few. As the elements are few, the implementation cost will be low when compared to other types of system because we require only a controller and a plant processor. The controller is just an on-off switch. Good reliability because it is set for the given target, so until and unless the controller input variable is changed, the output target is not going to change. So it is highly reliable, easy to maintain. If the output is not able to maintain the temperature, its decision making controller is faulty, so it can be changed, so easy to maintain. Disadvantages of open loop system. So often inaccurate because of the disturbances in the plant or process. The control variable may not be constant, it may change. Hence inaccuracy is one of the major drawback of open loop system. The reason for this one is we don't have any correction element or error finding element, so because of this there will be instability in the system. Relatively slow in response. If output variable is going to change, then after measuring only we can change the input variable. So the time taken to change will be depending on the output variable. So relatively slow in response for the change in demand.